Hello, hello, hello. This is a test stream with the subject of Direct D. I'll just wait for one or two more to come in. I'm testing a different mic here, so let me know how this sounds, please. Thanks, F.UK.T. We're gonna listen to and look at what Direct D put up. Oh, but before I start, we ought to just celebrate that yesterday for me, but today for you, judgment was entered in Jose Maria de Castro v. Pam Wagner. And it is ordered and adjudged, and I can't say this often enough today. The court granted the county defendant's motion to dismiss and the city's defendant's motion for judgment on the pleadings and dismissed de Castro's complaint. The dunce cap is a loser. Right, let's get on to Direct D. As I say, this was really a stream to test my mic, but it does have a subject, and the subject is Direct D. And I'm going to read this out. And I've no idea why anyone would sensibly put this out about themselves. I mean, why raise the prospect that you may have been an AB member? So, up here. So, at the top, sort of the third line, he may be an AB member, but not documented. Do you have a good DOC contact that I can call to see if there's more info on him? And right at the top, it says Christopher Ruff. So right at the top in the middle, Christopher Ruff. So we're talking about Christopher Ruff, Direct D. He may be an AB member, but not documented. Now, being a foreigner, I had to look up what an AB member is. Now, most of you may know, once I knew, that's Aryan Brotherhood, I knew what it stood for. AB chapters can be found in most major federal and state prisons in the country. Now, we know that Direct D was in a state prison. As a crime syndicate, the AB participates in drug trafficking, male prostitution rings, gambling and extortion inside prison walls. On the streets, the AB is involved in practically every kind of criminal enterprise, including murder for hire, armed robbery, gun running, methamphetamine manufacturing, heroin sales, counterfeiting, and identity theft. And, I mean, it obviously goes back to I believe they have Nazi on their a Nazi symbol on their on some of their tattoos, etc. But why would you put a video out suggesting that you may have been a member of the Aryan Brotherhood? I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. But let's have a listen to what he had to say, because obviously he is going to deny that he was a member, but just concentrate on what he's put behind here.
Hello. Hello?
This is Detective returning call for James.
Hey, Detective, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Last time I spoke to you, you were a sergeant in SSU.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Do I sound familiar to you?
You do not. I apologize.
Well, I want to keep it pretty simple. I've got some pretty basic questions for you. So in about 2017, you were SSU at Central Unit. You were the supervisor, correct?
I'm sorry. Who? I do not recognize your voice. I apologize. Who am I speaking to?
Well, my name is Chris. So
Okay.
I kind of called you under the guise of a different name. I didn't know if my name would be recognized. You do know me. We've personally met. I was actually a guest at Central Unit in 2007.
These auditors, they do have big heads, don't they? Thinking that everyone should know them. You know, back in 2017, he's going to be a memorable person. Anyhow, let's get on with it.
Do you remember me calling you to my door one day, making a big stink about STG points that you put on Christopher Ruff? Does the last name Ruff sound familiar?
Vaguely.
Vaguely familiar. He's obviously a superstar.
So I was there in 2007. I got out in September of 2017, but before that, I was in Central Unit at the Walls. I was in CB5, CB5 or CB7, I'm not sure. And I was in the walking program, you know, where we got to go to chow and all that good stuff. And I called you to my door because of an UA that came up. And you pulled me out, you put me in a cage, and I made a big stink about having STG points. And I asked you to take those off of my record before I got out because I didn't want it following me around. Remember?
So, he wanted any association with the Aryan Brotherhood to be taken off his record. But why go public with the information that it was on your record? Not that you were a member of AB, but it was a possibility that you're a member of AB. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me.
Remember that? I made a big deal about it. Do you remember that though?
I've had lots of discussions with lots of different people, Chris, about STG points.
I can imagine you're a detective now, so you've obviously, you know, accomplished some things over the last couple of years, and congratulations. You know, you were one of the few officers there that I thought was level-headed and you know, a good person in general. That's why I'm calling you directly instead of making a stink about this, because those STG points have followed me, man. You know, I just did a records request for a bunch of emails through a local police department here in Arizona, and all my DLC stuff started getting brought up in these emails that these police officers are talking to each other about. And your name didn't get mentioned, but...
So he's complaining that it's following him. He wants it off his record, except he broadcasts it on YouTube. I mean, that's going to put a lot of people off the association with Aryan Brotherhood, or the possible association with Aryan Brotherhood. I mean, I wonder if you're going to have to strip naked for us to see if you have a tattoo or not, or maybe you've had it removed. I don't... maybe gang at the end, Goddess of Truth, if anyone knows what STG stands for, but it's got to be something to do with, you know, within the prison program, them identifying potential gang members. But, I mean, I'm just astonished that he would put it out. And the fact... Joe, I've heard that, but where have you seen that? We searched Vine. Oh, it's a question. Has Craig Hendry? Not to my knowledge. Haven't been able to find anything. Have had a look. I mean, if it's not in Indiana, if anyone knows anything, I know his mate Ty put out a video about 3 days ago, but that was an old arrest. Security Threat Group. Thank you, F.UK.T. Right, let's get back to Christopher.
You know, I do remember having a conversation with you. I made a big stink about these STG points because so that's what I'm calling about. I mean, you can, if you have a computer in front of you, you can look up my DLC number right now and see exactly who you're talking to. It'll show you my picture, you know.
Yeah.
It's
What's your number, Chris?
267-609.
Yes, I did see unclean hands. Security threat
Wait, what
group.
was the number again?
267-609.
Okay.
Christopher Ruff.
Yeah, I see you.
So you remember me?
Yeah, if this is you, I vaguely remember you, yes.
So I'm having an issue because
That's got to hurt, Christopher. Vaguely remember you. He obviously, thinks he was a hard man in jail, so was bound to be, prison, I should say, bound to be remembered. Right, let's go back.
of all of that, man. I mean, there was a reason I asked you to take those points away and make it clear that I'm not associated with anybody. I mean, you're a detective now, so you would know out of everybody if I've sent letters in over the last, 6 years or 5 years since I've been out, and I haven't. I don't maintain contact with anybody, and my name has never come up in any of your investigations over the last few years since I got out. But here it is 2023, and I have local municipalities and police departments saying in emails that I'm an undocumented AB member.
And now you've put it out to the world, Direct D. People are going to possibly think that you may have been. I don't know. I'm not accusing you of being a member or not. At the bottom of this, he's been causing a lot of problems, and it sounds like there may be some AB notes in his doc file. Department of Corrections file. I can work out what DOC means.
That's a big problem. How well do you follow the internet, man? How well do you follow the internet?
What do you mean the internet?
Do you watch YouTube?
The internet's a big place, Chris.
I know, but do you watch YouTube?
There's a lot on YouTube as well.
Okay, well, I have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel where I got out of prison, I started a business, and I started doing activism work. I noticed that there was a problem with local police out on the streets, and I started recording them and putting them on YouTube. And over the course of the last 3 years, I've garnered about, almost 500,000 followers over all my media platforms. But mainly on YouTube, I go by Direct D. So you can bring up my YouTube channel and see my YouTube channel, see what I've been doing over the last couple of years, and it's not gang related. But
it might not be gang related, but it does put you in the position where the cops are likely to ask questions of you, and they're going to go back to your DOC file and pick up that you may have been an AB member. And I apologise for not having the screen up. Did I have it up when I started? I might have done, and then clicked on the wrong button. But I was mainly doing this to test the mic, and it sounds like it's going well. Right. Back to the video.
they're using what I asked you to take off of my record against me. I mean, I need help fixing this, huh?
I can tell you this much, Chris. I'll tell you, I do not remember specifically having this conversation with you, but I know I've had this conversation with a lot of people at Century and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
As SSU, and even in my role now as a detective, I do not have the ability, and I did not have the ability at the time to take any points off anyone.
Well, who does? Because it's a problem, man. You guys labeled me as some associate with, a very serious gang that I'm not associated with.
By your own actions, Christopher, you have now labelled yourself as associated with the gang that you're saying you're not associated with. None of us would have thought this, I don't think. Well, some might have thought it, but I've never, thought it. But why publicise it? Unless you want to be the hard man. The cops mustn't come for me.
And it's affecting my personal life now,
I understand your concern.
I mean, you have a computer in front of you. What do you guys have me labeled as? Can you look it up and tell me? I mean, why am I being discussed in emails like years after I got out of prison? Like, I don't get it.
I can't give any information out over the phone, Chris. You know that it wouldn't be fair to you if somebody else called up. Saying I'm Chris Russell.
But I could
or Chris
request
Russell.
those records, though. That's the thing. They're public records. So, I mean, you can
Yeah.
tell me. You can absolutely can. The law allows you to do so, or
You can request those records. There's a request process that needs to be followed.
Okay, I'm going
But I'm not going to give out inmate information over the phone.
I understand.
That wouldn't be fair to you if somebody else called up trying to ask for your information.
Right, you'd tell them the same thing, put in a records request. I got you.
You do know how to do the public records.
Right. Well, I think I've made my point. How old is this video, J5? It's new. It's new. Taco and Yoshi said he can't hear me. Can you hear me? Well, as I said at the start, this was primarily to test this mic setup. Nothing wrong with being an AB member. I remember when I was younger, used to do all sorts of sit-ups. I had good abs. I don't think my abs would add good to join a club or anything. Very well done, Rainer Maddock. Right, I'm going to finish there. Obviously, for you, those of you in the States, it's still a good day with Chile losing his Ohio court case. Never mind, he is still on the run. I'll say, as I said in my last live stream, there's too many, and I don't really want to be a live streamer that runs through everyone and welcoming. Then I just want to get down to the subject matter, get it done, get it out, and always with an up-to-date video. I won't do anything unless it's up to date, or it's the first time we find something, and we don't go back years. Anyhow, if you're new in my chat, thanks for joining. I'd be grateful for a sub. And if you are new, if you type 1 in the chat, I might just say hello. But if you're not new, please don't type 1 in the chat. I'll wait for a second. I hope you all appreciated the DirectD update. Why do it? I just don't understand. Don't understand at all. Right, I see no one, so we're probably all regular members of my channel. Thanks very much for coming and joining me. I'm going to listen back and see how this sounded. See if I've got better mic. 4bet20bb. Hello, David. Me, James. Hello. Johnny Bravo. Hello. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later. Good night for now. That's the end of me for the day.